My guest today is Vinnie Stigma, and you are somebody who almost needs no introduction, but would you like to give yourself an introduction today?
Hey, everybody, I'm Vinnie Stigma from New York Hardcore Tattoos, Agnostic Front, Madball, and the godfather of hardcore. How you doing, Diane?
I am doing quite well. Thanks for coming on the show with us. And you seem to leave out what I think the most current thing that's going on with you is, which is stigma.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, right. That's Vinnie Stigma. I forgot that. It's Vinnie Pavarotti now that I'm a singer in the band. You know?
Do you wear, like, the bow tie?
Yeah, well, you know, like a Rico Palazzi, yes, I do.
So tell us what's going on. What's the most recent thing happening with stigma?
Well, I just dropped my album the other day. We had a show at Redeeming Social Value, Two Man Advantage, and a band called No Dice at the Barry Electric. It was really great. We had a great time. Everybody it was really awesome. And
I heard that the show that you are sort of, you're introducing a younger generation of people to Stigma's music. I'm very current. And I have a lot of music in me. You know, I've been writing music, you know, I've been playing with Agnostic Front for 30 years. And, you know, I'm really in tune to what up, you know. So I think, you know, I got a somewhat of a handle on things. And what was your reaction to seeing as many children in the audience as there were? It was great. It was an honor to vibe with Stigma. It's so much fun. I haven't had so much fun in my own band. Like, I couldn't believe, like, everybody was singing along. Everybody was having such a great time. It was really an event. Hardcore, you know what I mean? I yell at my band, everybody laughs. It's fun, you know? It sounded like it was a really good time. What is your past or present, your favorite New York venue? Well, I tell you right now, the Barry Electric was pretty cool, you know. You know, that's probably the only venue. And then, of course, you got like Webster Hall, you know. But of course, my main one was CBGB's, God rest its soul. Yeah, it was a different time, you know. There was like before the cell phones and laptops and computers, and you know, before like you know, music got torn in so many different directions. It was a time of danger. It was a time of, like, you know, it was like New York, black and white. It was really awesome. I'm glad I experienced it. And in the, let's say, 30 years in terms of your career or how long you've been doing music, what have you gotten to do that you never thought you would? Well, go to Siberia, go to Japan. Wow. You know, go to Africa. You know, like, who would ever think that? Stand inside the Roman Colosseum on top of the Eiffel Tower, you know, so things like that amaze me. And the thing is, when I went to the Colosseum, I was walking around there, and they got like those Roman guards that take pictures with you, and all of a sudden I hear, yo, Stigma! And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I see this Roman, like, soldier coming towards me. He's like, baby! And I couldn't believe it. So I go back and I tell my friends that I was with Agnostic Front. So I go back and I tell the Stigma band, and they know I'm a little bit of a windbag. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. I get there with Stigma band, and I'm like at the Coliseum, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's around here somewhere. And I'm looking, and they're all going, get out of here. All of a sudden, he comes out of nowhere, Stigma! And we have pictures, and I said, see? Never doubt Vinnie Stigma. That's so funny. I can't imagine that you would have ever thought that that would have happened while you were, let's say, recording United Blood. No way. You know, I never did that, but I always felt that I would be like a tri-state rebel, let's say. And if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing? Probably being the mafia, killing people. I made a movie, New York Blood, a couple of years ago, and I'm doing part 2 right now, and it's like kind of like a B-rated Soprano. I go around, you know, I do things in the movie. I do things, you know? Oh, yeah. I hear you do things. Well, that's good that you can act that out and get that out of your system. Yeah, I know. I'm glad. Thank God. How long ago did you start playing guitar?
Well, I was 14 years old when I got my first electric guitar. You know, I had acoustic guitars before that, and I was like kind of young, and I used to get them, and then like within 3 or 4 days, I would like just smash them. And I'm thinking now these were probably expensive guitars today, you know, but I always wanted an electric guitar, and then I finally got one. It was a Fender Mustang, and of course, two heroes of mine when I was young: Bruce Lee, Jimi Hendrix. I love those two guys.
Wow.
Because I figure I put the combination together, make hardcore, become the toughest guitar player around. So like I put those two into one entity, and that's what I came off.
That makes perfect sense. Now, you said you have an influence on a lot of the younger people. What do you think that the future of hardcore looks like?
Well, it looks pretty good because I see a lot of great bands, you know, out there, you know, because I'm involved with Black and Blue Radio. It's eastvillageradio.com every Tuesday night, 8 to 10. We play hardcore music. And with my friend, Cousin Joe. You know, I'm in tune very much because I'm on the radio myself a lot, and I help DJ, and I'm guest appearance on the radio, and I support the radio stations, you know. Radio Free America, baby.
So you see a lot of response then?
Yeah, I'm that guy that goes to see that band that nobody goes to see. I'm that guy in the corner. I'm a real fan, you know.
What new bands in the area, well, not even in the area, but what new bands do you like?
Well, Live Fast, Die Fast from Long Island, really great, man. Reason to Fight, they're great. Another Let's Call Brawl's got a brand new album out. It's a pretty cool record, you know. Band called No Dice, up and coming band, you know. You know, of course, in the old school, my old school friends like No Redeeming Social Advantage and Two Man Advantage, you know, No Receiving No Social Value. And, you know, we all get along with Stigma and just have a good time, you know. A lot of good bands out there. Take Offense, Lionheart from the West Coast, you know. I could go on, you know. And, you know, a lot of you kids out there that are out there playing in bands, you know, take your time, do it, man. Have a good time doing it, you know. Just get to rehearsal on time and bring something to rehearsal with you. Bring a couple of riffs with you.
Bring what to rehearsal?
A couple of riffs. You know,
a couple of riffs.
You know?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I think the phone cut out at that point. What's the difference for you when you're doing Agnostic Front and when you're doing Stigma?
Well, I have a lot more freedom with Stigma. I'm more free. It's like I could do oi, I could do rock, I could do, you know, like punk. You know, with Agnostic Front, it's like hardcore punk. It's a lot more militant. You know what I mean? It's heavier. It's louder, it's faster. Well, with Stigma, it's a lot more free. You know, it's more carefree, kind of a lot more fun in a way, you know? So it's not as dangerous.
Well, I have to say the new record is really a lot of fun.
Oh, thanks.
It's great. It sounds more cheerful.
Yeah, right, that's a good one. Yes, it is more cheerful.
How long did it take to make the record?
Well, we did it in phases. I did it with Lars Fredrickson, helped me from Rancid. He wrote a couple of songs and you know, did some production. Phil Gavano from Monster Magnet, you know. Asta from Hatebreed. You know, they're all behind me in this project with Stigma, and they'll always be there because they're my friends that, you know, they want to see me do good and help me out. And that's pretty cool to have a team of guys like that, you know, along with the band. You know, Mike Gallo and my guitar players, Sean Kilkenny and Larry the Hunter. And I got a young drummer, Luke Rhoda, you know. My little Frank Sinatra character coming to play, you know. And I think there's something going on over here, you know. What's
the label that For Love and Glory is released on?
Well, in America, it's Dirty Mick Records. And in Europe, it's Sunny Bastards. Okay. I'll be on tour in Europe on May 2nd with Stomper 98 and Old Firm Casuals. We're touring Europe for a month on that tour. Then I come back, I get Agnostic Front, and we go out there and we play the festival season with Agnostic Front. And I'm writing a new album with Agnostic Front, and I should drop it at the end of the year. So I'll drop 2 records this year, one solo, one with Agnostic Front.
That's a very busy year for you.
I
I got a lot of music in me. I'm very blessed. God's been good to me. Music's been very, very good for me. I'm a very musical guy, you know. I always make fun. I always sing songs. My whole family was, you know. And I think if you don't care about singing out of tune or singing from your heart, I think there'll always, as long as there's a song in my heart, I'll be free.
That's really cool. Where's your favorite audience, Vinnie?
You know, I don't care. You know, anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I love it all. I'm my own I'm my own audience. I don't care.
What's going on with New York Hardcore Tattoos?
Well, they're filming a movie in it today. I had to close the shop down today because they're filming some kind of movie or commercial. So wrapping up about 4 o'clock, and maybe we'll open up for a couple appointments. But yeah, we've been, you know, booked up. You know, it's a place where kids could come get their black and blue tickets, you know, for hardcore shows, or we have a bulletin board, or, you know, we sell T-shirts and records there. I do the Stigma thing there. I tattoo out of there every now and again.
Okay.
Laws from Rancid Tattoos out of there. We have guest tattoo artists. We're trying to get Toby to come down from H2O. You know, just do like an X, like novelty tattoos, you know?
Yeah.
I do like the New York Hardcore. Laws does the Skunks, Skins, Punks, and Drunks.
Right.
So you'll like make it H2O or an X or something. Just, you know, so you come down and meet and greet, get tattooed. You know, we give them a package with T-shirts and stickers and posters.
Oh, that's neat.
Pictures. You know, make a day out of it. You know, I'll give you coffee. I make the best coffee for everybody.
Aha!
It's really at ease. It ain't like, you know, you're going to walk in a place and somebody's going to look at you with a lot of tattoos and they're wearing leather pants and eyeliner.
Right.
Attitude. You come in, you're more than welcome. You know, you're one of us. And that's what I like about my shop. It's us.
I can hear that. I can hear that you operate from street level and from your heart.
Right, exactly. And that's what it should be, you know. Nobody's above anybody here.
Is there anything that you can think of that you witnessed in the early hardcore scene that could never happen in music now?
Well, a lot of the violence, CBGB's itself, the whole story of CBGB's, you know, like I said, the danger, the element, the fights that, you know, people used to, well, in front of CBGB's, we used to fight a lot, you know, like with the crackheads right above.
Oh, yeah.
Bikers, you know, the kids. Like, here, I'll give you a story. What, you know, we hanging out outside CBGB's, and these crackheads would throw things from bottles down at us. So one day, I got fed up. I grabbed about 10 guys. I said, yo, you guys come with me. I went up to the thing. I gave everybody a beating. It never happened again. I don't think that could happen anymore. I think I'd go to jail now today for that.
Probably.
Sure. Stand up for what you believe in, you know?
Well, and that's the thing.
That's why I wasn't too crazy for that Occupy movement down there. I wasn't getting with these people, you know? It was hard for me. You know, I stand next to this guy playing chess, and I kept going to him, Queens level 3. Queens to Queens level 3. You know, I started marching around. I'm like, these people suck, you know? I was falling away from them in their latte coffee, they're flicking coffee. I was just in South America on October 11th. There was an earthquake that day. I played that day, and there was a riot at my show. I was out there with the kids fighting the cops. They fight the cops out there. I'm talking about tear gas and everything like that. I picked up a can of tear gas and I threw it, and I burned my hand. But you know what? I threw it back. You ain't going to mess with us.
And especially back in the CBGB's days, the music that we were involved in was seen as a threat. And now music really isn't. It's sort of a commodity, and there's different things that people think. I remember police just, why don't you guys get out of here? And
right.
We were causing a problem.
I got arrested in front of CBGB so many times for drinking a beer, you know? I mean,
Anyway.
now, you know, with the music, you talk about, like, that's a threat. Look at the stupid things like the Holland and that other stupid dance last year with that guy, the Korean guy. You know, it's like stupidity. We stand for something. We believe in something. This is social, political, moral, you know? People just don't get it.
So what do you think happens to old hardcore? Because I'm fast forwarding. Like, where are you going to be in 30 years?
Well, I'm happy with I want to still be writing music, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I teach music to old people, and I like to teach to young kids. You know, I would love that. I would do that for selfish reasons, because when they grow up and they become guitar players, and people say, "Hey, where'd you learn how to play guitar?" I want them to tell them, Vinnie Stigma taught me how to play the guitar.
And,
you know, so
yeah.
I like giving back. I run a business. You know, I maybe open up another tattoo shop, maybe take a vacation, go golfing. I don't know, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and either way, you're making an impact. You're making really a lasting impact, and that's what I see. You know, you're the guy who's been in New York and has done it on all different levels. Somebody in your band told me to ask you about Johnny Thunder's meatball recipes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just talking about that the other day. You know, I used to hang out with Johnny Thunders and, like, back in the old days, okay, let's say early, mid-70s, somewhere around there. Give me a year or two, I can't remember, 40 years later. Picture this, sitting on the corner, Vinnie Stigma, Johnny Thunders and Frankie Cadillac talking about making meatballs. You know who led that conversation? You know who started that conversation was me. I love it. I tell that story all the time because it's something that I just love doing, like just making conversation with anybody. When I walk around at a hardcore show and I see somebody and they're like kind of by themselves, I'll go over and I'll pat him on the back and I'll say, "What's going on? Who's up next?" I'll make a conversation. You see, the last thing they were great. I'll just start a conversation and nothing and nowhere, because I know this kid belongs, to make him feel comfortable and just to get with people, you know? It's like meet and greet.
I can totally see that in you. And even in your stage presence and how you are with an audience and without an audience now, like when we're talking, I can just really hear that you're all heart.
I feel like I know you 100 years.
The scene goes back, and it's in you. Yeah, and it's easy.
It'll always be there, you know, because I have heart. And I want to thank guys like my partner, Roger, you know, an Agnostic front, my singer. You know, he's a guy that's a true guy to the scene. He never left the scene. He's got his solo band. He's got his car club. You know what I mean? They're like all like kind of like Sailor's Grave, you know, hardcore guys that like have fancy haircuts, you know, hot rods, you know those guys?
Yeah, yeah.
I call it Sailor's Grave. You know, they're still involved with the scene, and you know, he gives back a lot, Raj. He's a good dad. He's got, you know, 2 new kids, you know, in Arizona. Great guy, man, you know, so he's a true one, you know. There are people out there. You know, like my friend Alvarez from All, the band All. You know,
Carl, yeah.
He's like a real guy. You know, the Duke Brigade Brothers. You know, the Punk Rock Bowling out in Las Vegas coming up soon. We have friends all over the world that are still true. So there are people out there. You know, for the ones that left, the ones that have gone away. You know, when they come back, I'm having mixed emotions. I'm like, hey, welcome back. Wow, it's good to have you home on one hand. And then on the other hand, it's where the hell were you for the last 25 years? You know what I mean? So this is a belief we have, you know, hardcore. You know, it stems from like a punk rock hardcore. So it's a movement. It's the music, the movement, you know, the men, the women that are involved. It's a lifestyle.
It's certainly a lifestyle.
It's a commitment to me.
There's funny stories online about you, so I wanted to ask you, did you save a child's life in Australia?
Well, it was not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? It really got blown out of proportion. But, yeah, it was nothing, really. Well,
what actually happened?
I just grabbed the kid. He really didn't even, like, you know what I mean? He just ran away from his mom, like 2 feet, you know? You know, me as a parent, I get scared.
But you saw a child that...
in Colombia, and I'm a fire walker, and I stage dived backwards the other day. So, you know, those things I'm proud of.
Yeah, but saving a child from getting hit by a speeding car, you could still be proud of that.
Yeah, well, you know, I caught two muggers in England, right in front of the place I was playing. I caught a mugger one year, and I was bragging, you know, and everything like that. And I was standing in the same spot, and everyone was telling me, "Hey, Vinny, what are you here trying to catch another mugger?" And sure enough, another mugger happened, and I got him too.
Really?
I swear to God, twice in the same spot. One was a mugger, and one was someone was going to hit somebody. Someone was going to hit a little girl, like three little girls. Some guy come rolling up to them, and he was threatening them, and it was during the Olympics, and the cops were there in a minute, and I made sure both times they took my name, just in case. I was trying to get into the Camden News, you know?
Yeah.
You know, Vinnie Stigma, hero of the day, you know?
Well, yes, you should be commended for that.
I kept going over the microphone like, hey, don't forget, try to get it out the internet, everybody, you know?
You are a great self-PR person, and your actions do actually really speak.
Talk the talk, you got to walk the walk.
Yes, for sure. Hey, I wanted to find out, can you name for me a couple of, like, your favorite songs of all time?
Ooh, Victim in Pain, Power. I know they're my own songs.
It's okay.
My Familia, Madball, The Blitz, Warriors. Ooh, the list will go on forever, you know. A lot of songs out there. I know I'll miss a lot. I like a lot of Business. I like a lot of Oi. I like The Last Resort.
So is there anything else that you want the listeners to know, Vinnie?
Well, I just want to say thank you very much, because without you, this interview wouldn't even be happening. And Diane, I want to thank you also for, you know, putting up with me, you know. Anybody out there, you come to New York Hardcore Tattoos, come on down and, you know, we'll hang out, and it's there for you. CBGB's ain't there right now, but New York Hardcore Tattoos is there. So we got some kind of foothold here somewhere. And I want to, once again, I'd like to thank everybody and all the bands. And remember, hardcore lives.